I think the more passionate one for me, where I remember on every rough cut I saw of No One Killed Jessica, I had a lump in my throat.
We live in a country where we treat medicines and prasads at the same level, where we trust blindly and we have it.
But were you like receiving OTT offers even before this?
Yes, I was, and I just guess I was slightly reluctant.
Is Ronnie sir your go-to producer whenever you come up with a story?
Yeah, of course, he is.
Now,
he has
what are you going to say?
No, of course,
Not really, but
yeah.
First film, Aamir, was a very difficult film. I don't think 99% of the producer would not have made that film.
I really don't think of box office when I do a film. So yes, when you ask me whether if Genelia is a critic, and she's definitely a critic that I trust.
Swades, for example, we all laugh about it, is a film that was before its time when it got released.
Yes.
So I think it needed. So now I think it needed its moment in the sun.
Hello, Ronnie sir. Hi, Riteish. Hi, Raj sir.
Yeah.
Welcome to News 18.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for having us.
How are you?
Absolutely great, thank you.
Yes, great. So, you are known to have this fascination for real life stories. Can you take us a little through what went behind creating this? What made you want to tell this story?
I think it started with Ronnie and we getting together, and we wanted to explore the world of pharma. So we just thought that there was some story that we wanted to explore, and that's how it started. And as we went along, we also started thinking that, how many times it became very personal in terms of how many times do we take, how many times we get sick, we all get sick. How many times do we pop pills?
Yeah.
And that raised a question, that's where it started. And then I thought, pills are supposed to keep us safe. And then I was reading some articles and things like that, where I realized where there were findings that said that 25% to 30% of pill or they are either substandard or counterfeit or fake. So it raised an important question, and that's how this thing came into being. That's how the series started. Then we went into delving into the story inspired by real event, and then putting a story together and making the series.
But can you tell me a little bit about the research that went behind it, in terms of, who did you speak to doctors, and were there statistics that you
There were a lot of statistics. There were a lot of, when you read, there are so many newspaper articles which come in, which really raise question on the safety.
Sure.
Of course, there are good, there is bad. Pharma companies are good as well. There are, as I said, a lot of times there are things which you don't want to see. It kind of undermines the safety and security of people who are taking pill, or people who are depending on if they are sick, they are depending on. But in that, you also read those articles where you see that there are a lot of companies, or there are some companies who, or companies or drugs which are counterfeit, which
Sure.
are, you are reading those articles. So those really raise question, and they really makes you feel that, okay, so is this true or not?
Right.
So that's how it all started.
That's true. Ronnie sir, you have had a rich association with sir, and it started with his first film, Aamir, right? What has been, the association like so far?
Raj and I go back to really the day on which it was a one-liner for him. And Raj is someone where he loves challenges. He takes them on, and then he's brutal about how he wants to execute on it. And he's also simple and clear. The simplicity with which he executes, and he's talked about his research right now, but I think just the way the simplicity and sort of very straightforward way in which he goes about it. So Aamir was one. I think the more passionate one for me, where I remember on every rough cut I saw of No One Killed Jessica, I had a lump in my throat. And, and literally every time I think we had those rough cuts, we would take it from one level to another level to another level. So I think it's been a phenomenal. And so then to take something And just to add to what Raj has been saying, I think the origin of this was really, today audiences are looking for a little bit more contextual when you're telling stories with a little bit of reality, a little bit of context. Whether you're going to rural India, whether you're going to see how rural India gets, or a Panchayat Raj, or whether you see a sector, or whether it's the airline industry or the pharma industry, people like to see context. People like to see it closer to reality. But at the end of the day, the beauty is we're not making a documentary.
Sure.
At the end of the day, this is an engrossing, thrilling, fast-moving and very hard-hitting series. And to bring that and to bring the storyline requires a fair amount of research, and then you don't get subservient with the research, but you actually make it into a story. And I think that's the beauty of what Raj did. Took facts, took data, added the passion to it, and then made it into a story with key characters and a protagonist, and portraying for every industry and every other sector where there's the good and the bad, and there's always going to be, normally what happens is the 10% normally drag down to 90%, right? But at the end of the day, I think the series should make people aware.
Yes.
And just pick a pinprick, and I think that's what we hope to do.
Yeah. Ritesh, was that thought also that came to your mind when you read the script, that, I want to do something that makes people think?
See, for me, this is my first series that I'm doing.
Yes.
And so it was very important for me, which is that first thing that I want to do. And when, Raj sir called me up and Ronnie sir spoke to me, they are two people that I really admired for the kind of work they do and the kind of films that he backs, or the kind of movies that he writes. It always fascinated me as an audience, and here I was getting a chance to do a series where both of them are involved in it. And that too, when we talk about pill as a subject, it's extremely relevant because we live in a country where we treat medicines and prasads at the same level, where we trust blindly and we have it. We don't question whether it's good for you, not good for you. We trust the doctor. And here we are talking about, so many times we consume medicine, we don't even know the potency of it. Whether it's actually working for you, whether it's the real medicine or a counterfeit or a fake. And we don't want to question it. We just say, okay, ye dawai kaam nahi kar rahi, to chalo dusri try kar lete. But we really don't know the processes as we consume it. We trust blindly, and that's what this series questions also. And like Ronnie sir rightly said, that it's a thrilling experience while you watch the series, and that's what I love. It's a thriller, yet it's emotional and it's human at every level. It talks about human emotions and it plays with people's lives. So it's something that needs to be debated. It needs to be spoken about, and that's what I think this series really looks into.
So when I was also watching the trailer, this one thing that came to my mind was how ignorant we are, when it comes to medicines, for obvious reasons. I mean, not all of us are qualified. But I think a lot of time we also end up self-prescribing medicines. And I think that is something that has to be really spoken about. And I'm looking forward to, how this show also...
I'm not sure we're going to have an answer to whether you self-prescribe or you don't self-prescribe. We're not this... At the end of the day, we want everyone to watch it and get into the series and get into the characters, get into the protagonists, what Riteish has played. But yeah, I don't think you're going to find answers to that.
No, I'm not saying that, sir. I was just saying that, this ignorance thing that I was talking about.
And I think we take things for granted as much as we have that sense of ignorance.
Absolutely. And we think that we can prescribe medicines to ourselves and our loved ones. That's the thing. But Riteish, what took you so long to make your digital debut? Many of your contemporaries have already, they've started it long back. But what took you so long?
No, I just feel that, you always wait for that one thing that excites you a lot. I met Raj sir when we discussed this, and he just said that I want to see you doing this in a way that I've never seen you before. Right from the look, right from the approach, and that really fascinated me. And I'm like, yes, this really puts me away from my comfort zone, and it challenges me to do something that I've not done before, much more realistic, yet relatable. So that was exciting. It's always exciting working with him.
Yeah.
We started working as an actor director, and today I can proudly say that he's one of my dear friends, and we discuss so many things.
Yes.
And I'm really happy to collaborate with him on this.
Yeah. But were you like receiving OTT offers even before this?
Yes,
Okay.
I was, and I just guess I was slightly reluctant.
Okay.
But when this came my way, there's no doubt in my mind.
Ritesh, you're largely known, while you have done other kind of film as well, you're largely known for your comedy films. So when a show like this comes your way, do you also think that it reinstills faith in yourself as an actor, that other people, other makers can look at me differently?
No, I'll before you reply, I want to reply to just add my bit to this.
Yes.
I think he's such a brilliant actor that whenever I saw him in his films. It's not only comedy films. He has done other roles also.
Yes.
But every time I used to look at him, I used to feel such a fascinating actor, such a brilliant actor. So this is something that Pill, when it came to me, when we developed it, and I was thinking about casting, and when his name came, I thought, oh, how great it would be to see. And I didn't see him as a comic actor. I didn't see him as somebody who has played something. I saw him, how great he would be in this character, and if we took along this journey together. And that's what I think is fascinating about him as an actor, that you can see him in various roles. Sorry.
No, so kind of you. Thank you.
And I want to add before
Yes.
gets onto that. Because from that first frame,
Yes.
the entire series, actually the credibility and the authenticity rests on his shoulder and his character. Because the more it is the way he's projected and portrayed it, the more authentic the series is. Because then you don't see somebody with an agenda. And I think the character he plays from that very first frame, Raj has given him that picture and that characteristic of authenticity. And this series would not connect for credibility if it wasn't for the character and the way it's played. So, and I think that's really a big one.
Wow, how sweet. Thank you.
No, but you please go ahead.
No, I just want to say that, I've been working for 22 years now.
Yes.
And I've been, I guess, extremely lucky to, be sitting here talking to you after 22 years, and people still, thinking of me that, we could work with him as an actor, be it as a production house, as a director. So I feel extremely fortunate to be here. And for me, I've never differentiated between genres in terms of whether it's comedy or thriller or romance. I've enjoyed every part of acting. Sure. And you just wait for the right kind of opportunities to come. And I'm really grateful to Ronnie sir and Raj sir to have given me this.
Yeah. But isn't it refreshing, Riteish, to see a script like this coming your way?
No, it is. And that is the reason why I don't have to wait too long, right?
Yeah.
So to say yes to it. Because of, apart from the names involved, I would say all of us have done this primarily because we love the script more than anything else. And the story that we want to say and the journey that we all have taken together. And that is far more exciting.
Absolutely. Raj sir, is Ronnie sir your go-to producer whenever you come up with a story?
Yeah, of course, he is.
Now,
he has
what are you going to say?
No, of course he's...
Not really, but...
yeah.
No,
where's the butt coming in?
I'll tell you something about Ronnie. I think he has launched so many, including me. My first film was with Ronnie, and it was a very difficult film. My first film, Aamir, was a very difficult film. I don't think 99% of the producer would not have made that film. But he had the vision to back not only me, but in that film, Rajiv Khandelwal, in that film, everybody was a newcomer. So he had that vision to back me, not only me. I think in Hindi film industry, if there has been a visionary producer, there might have been many, but he's one of them whom I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he has backed so many talent, and I don't people know it, whether people don't give him a credit or compliment him or not. But I would like to say that he has been a visionary producer, and he has backed so many talents, including me. And yeah, he is my go-to producer. I'm still waiting for him to hear another of my script, but he hasn't had the time to hear. So yes, he's my go-to producer for sure.
How lovely. Do you want to say something to that?
Yeah, no. Firstly, I think compliments are pretty tough to come by, so I will accept any of them.
Oh, come on,
any of them,
sir.
whenever they do at any given clock and time that comes there. But yeah, look, on a more serious note, I think I started by my opening comments on that. I
Yeah.
think when you have that very focused. Actually, Raj is a producer and a director, and I think that makes it even more deeper today, because storytelling requires a 360-degree approach to what you want to do. You have to be pragmatic about what you want to do. You have to connect with the audience. You have to get your characters in place. You have to enthrall, but you need to do it in a manner in which it makes commercial sense for a platform or whatever else. And I think that's the dual hat that he wears. Right. So I'm very happy that I'm his first protocol, and he wears the dual hats there.
How lovely. That reminds me, dual hat. Riteish, you're also a director. And when you're in front of the camera for somebody else's film, let's say Raj sir's film here, is it difficult to keep the director side of you shut? Like, I mean, does the director and the actor in you come in conflict sometimes?
Not really. Because when you're working with someone who's a better director than you, then the conflict ends.
Great.
So I'm more than happy to be on a set where there are no doubts in my mind. I'm someone who's extremely focused into what I need to achieve or I need to give.
Right.
And I've because I always believe that when you do any kind of film, the captain of the ship is the director, and you have to have complete trust and faith. A director cannot be second guessing, thinking, whether the actor actually trusts me or not, or what does he think of me. I don't think those kind of films will ever reach the kind of end that we all intend to.
Right.
I think here is a director who is extremely confident of his craft, who doesn't prove to anyone, and he's brilliant at what he does. So I don't think, in my mind, there was ever a doubt at any point that this should be like this. I was extremely focused. In many times, in fact, I had to, seek his help in terms of how he was looking at the character that I was portraying, because it's completely different from whatever I had played. And his journey may be heroic, but his approach to the character is not like a hero.
Right.
He just, you, me, anyone, just like any other common man who thinks that something needs to be done.
Absolutely. But all of you, please tell me, is there a sense of relief because there's no box office pressure this time around?
I really don't think of box office when I do a film or anything. It's not about taking pressure for me at least, but I just feel that you choose films because or series because you want to do something wonderful, and there are certain things that are not in your hands. You do your best and go ahead. So
you've never been phased with box office, is that what you're saying?
I don't think about it.
Okay.
I just think if it's successful, then I say thank you so much. If it's not, I say I'll try hard again.
You want to add something, sir?
Yeah, no, I think, look, box office, firstly, this is a series and it's a storytelling which had to be in a series form. So it's a little different. I think the world has evolved in terms of how they consume content. I think the box office pressure normally comes in when you are looking at some of the sort of high budget films. But otherwise, from a storytelling point of view, if you've got it right, you just go forward. And we know today that 8 out of 10 people are anyway going to watch your content, whether it's a movie or a series on a platform that is not on a theatre screen, if not 9 out of 10.
Right.
So it is that nice Friday night up and down, but I think it's becoming less and less relevant in storytelling.
Right. But, since you are also a producer, I just want to address this. Off late, a lot of conversation is happening with regard to the box office in terms of how, advance bookings, there's this sense of competition also now among films ki kiska advance booking zyada hai. There are conversations happening about corporate bookings. What do you have to say about that?
Nothing.
I think I don't want to get into box office or this is, and I don't have any comment on that, whatever subject is. But I guess just trying to answer your previous question, and it's about, when we tell a story, it is about the story. Irrespective of box office, we want to tell a good story to the best of our knowledge in that present form, to tell the best story in the best possible way, whether it's a film, whether it's a series. That's the attempt that we have done here as well. When we have made this series, it's of course we want our audience to go and see it. Even for box office, the audience needs to come. for this also we want the audience to come and see the film, see the series. So our attempt has always been, be it film or be it a series, our attempt has always been to tell a good story so that it connects to people, so that they feel part of it and they come and they appreciate the story. So that's where we come from in terms of
just look, to answer your question very straightforwardly, and I come from different sectors, both in the not-for-profit, in education and others, and I can only just tell you today, the glare and spotlight on anything that anyone says is 360 degree, and you get called out.
Absolutely.
So wherever it has to be called out, it'll get called out. And wherever it is not, it needs to be there. So I think that's that momentary gratification that people have. There's a certain sense of pressure. But at the end of the day, it'll get called out. Our audiences don't really care about that. And I think it's just it's your own homework that you care for. But audiences really don't care. They'll go and they'll connect, they'll go for word of mouth. Today, they're not looking at it from a marketing campaign or what your box office was. They're going, if my 9 friends or the people that I respect views, what do they think about it?
Sure. Absolutely. Just on a parting note, since we don't have much time, Riteish, I'll have to ask you something. So I was chatting with Genelia a while back, and, she was saying that, there's very rarely that we have conversations about work at home. I just want to ask you, what kind of feedback does she really give you on your work? Or is she a harsh critique sometimes? Can she be?
It's important to have certain criticism from people that you trust so that they can probably guide you where you're going wrong, or, have a healthy discussion. And Genelia is all that for me at home. Likewise, I'm sure that, all our partners back home will always tell us, okay, you should be doing this, or this is great, or this is not that good. So yes, when you ask me if Genelia is a critic, and she's definitely a critic that I trust.
Yeah, has she watched Pill yet?
I haven't yet, so she's definitely not.
Oh, right, okay. And sorry.
No, I said I'm waiting on 12th.
Okay.
They asked me to watch it. I said, no, I'll watch it on JioCinema.
I'll watch it with the audience.
On JioCinema. I'm subscribing to Premium.
Great. Lovely plug it. So I have a question as a fan to you. You have worked with Vidya Balan twice. When will you work with her again? That's a question that a lot of people have.
Yeah, I have a question. When will she work with me again? So I think both of us are wanting to work with each other, and we are looking for, it's about a subject which we can have a common ground to work on, which she also likes, which I also like. So I'm looking forward to that, I get something that I can give it to her and we can work together.
Absolutely.
Again. I'm looking forward to that, that script and that day.
So are we. Lastly, sir, to you, I would just want to thank you for re-releasing 2 of our favorite films last month. One was Laksh, one was Swades. Why do you think, these films that are getting re-released, of course, today, they are actually providing a competition to the films that are running in theatres? I mean, there's so many fans. Rockstar did so well. What do you have to say about this, the fact that, you're giving so many audiences the chance to relive their memories?
So on a more lighter note, I would say, Swades, for example, we all laugh about it, is a film that was before its time when it got released.
Yes.
So I think it needed, now I think it needed its moment in the sun. And that's what I'd be very happy to talk about. Maybe at that time it was before its time. Since I keep saying it's before its time, then its time has got to come to do it. And I think, but that's what it is, right?
Yeah,
you can go back.
absolutely.
There are some stories that are evergreen. And I think if Raj said if one is backed or whatever it is, I think a lot of what one has done, I think evergreen has been one of the key parts there outside. And I think, that's why it is there. So
great. But thank you so much. Thank you for that. Thank you for this conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I look forward to watching Pill. I hope the audiences also do. Thank you.